Well, the writers will have their say-so.
If I was a writer, I'd be dangerous.
Yep, I know it. The writers will have their say-so coming up in about 2 weeks when we learn who'll make up the class of 2024. Here is a list of the first-time eligible players. We've talked a lot about the guys we think are going to get in easy on this ballot, Joe Mauer and Adrian Beltre. There are others for whom a compelling case could be made, and for that, we send it to Keith Costas.
Yep, guys, we're through all the guys that are tracking at less than 5% that we covered last week. They'll probably be one and done. Now we're into the more meat of the ballot, like you said, Maddie, starting with Chase Utley. I don't know if this is going to be the year for him as a first ballot guy, but certainly has plenty of support at 44%. When you talk about Utley, it really starts at his peak. This 5-year stretch that was his first 5 full seasons. And these are his season averages, not his per 162. You see on the bottom, he was playing every day, 151 games a year, and putting up these kind of numbers at second base. Obviously very, very impressive with that kind of power and the all-around game he had. Now, you look at his Hall of Fame case, it really comes down to 10 years in the middle of his career. His first 2 years, he was up and down. Those last handful of years with the Dodgers, we know that wasn't really what Chase Utley was. So it's this middle portion of his career. And to me, the thing here, guys, the first 5 years of this 10-year stretch, elite player. You look at that number on the top, the WAR he put up over 162, and most importantly, he was playing virtually every day. Second 5 years in that stretch, still a really, really, really good player. Maybe not that crazy elite level of the first 5 years, but guys, he missed more than a quarter of the games, which to me is a huge, huge deal. So how loud was that first 5-year stretch? You look at this next board, seasons with 7+ WAR by second baseman. Well, he did it all 5 years in that first stretch that we talked about. And to find guys with more seasons like that at second base, you have to go back to players that debuted over 100 years ago. So short peak, yes, but the loud peak was very, very loud for Chase Utley. You look at where he ranked up across the league during that 5-year stretch, his MLB ranks. He's the best offensive second baseman in the game. He was the best defensive player by the metrics, even though he didn't win any Gold Gloves. He was the most efficient base stealer in the league, and all that added up to the second highest WAR by both metrics behind Albert Pujols in that stretch. So how did that help the Phillies win, guys? When you think about how their team was constructed, look at the total base leaders over that 5-year stretch again for Utley, with his double play partner Jimmy Rollins also on this board, and you see everybody else played on a corner. So the only two up the middle players that were producing at this level were paired together, and wouldn't you know it, the Phillies were pretty darn good during this period. So it's almost like a Sandy Koufax, Johan Santana kind of resume for me, guys, where it's really a 5-year stretch that you're talking about where he really made his Hall of Fame case. It's close. To me, he's over the line.
Okay, I mean, you lay out some compelling cases as per always with these guys, and I'm going to go back to, I think Harold was the first one to say this. You can't not have Jeff Kent there and vote for Chase Utley. I don't get it. I mean, if you're supporting both of them, great. But if you're one of these voters that said no to Kent, yes to Utley, I want an explanation. You got some splaining to do.
Yeah. Chase is a more complete player than Jeff Kent, but Jeff Kent's numbers warrant him to the Hall. I tell you what, here's what the problem they're going to run into with Chase Utley. You talked about the peak years, and they were elite. This guy was amazing to watch. I mean, he was a threat like no other second baseman. That's what sets him apart. But it wasn't the long stretch, so I give him the Don Mattingly argument. What are you guys looking for? Is it I need 20 years, or are we going the best 10 years? And if it's the 10-year short peak, there's no doubt Chase Utley's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at, well, he struggled the last few years down the stretch and all that, then of course you're going to wonder if he's in. But if it's those peak years, he should be in, just like Don Mattingly should have been on.
I think your Kent comparison, Matt, sums the whole thing up. It's the balance between how great of a player you were and how great of a career you had. I think pretty much everyone would agree at their peak, Chase Utley was the better player, but I think you can make a fairly easy argument that Kent had the better full career.
I would even take out, you could make the same case for Utley without the last 4 years of his career. Just take the 12 years in Philly.
Yep.
Lop those 4 LA years off,
yeah,
and it's the same case whether you're for it or against it for Utley in the Hall of Fame. I'm really going to be curious to see where his final vote tracks. I do not think he's going to get into the first ballot, but it's going to be interesting to see where he starts as a first-time eligible guy. We'll see where it goes. Keith, thank you.